Hi, I'm Kris from Theme Park to Table, cooking up theme park recipes here in my kitchen. Today we're going to make another holiday recipe. We're going to be doing the Red Velvet Whoopie Pie. This can be found in Hollywood Studios at the Backlot Express in trolley car. To start off, I just have a big mixing bowl. This recipe actually calls just for a boxed red velvet cake mix, so that's what we're going to use. I'll pour this in. Okay. Just going to put that off the side for now. We're going to add to it water, vegetable oil. I have 3 eggs, just cracked, nothing special done to them. I always like to crack my eggs into a separate bowl, just in case you get a funny egg or even sometimes a bit of shell. Vanilla. Okay, now we are just going to mix this up. We're going to mix it until it's smooth. First, we're going to get some power. There we go. We'll bring up the speed a little bit. Want to kind of incorporate all the dry into the wet without sending the dry flying everywhere. Once you get all that dry kind of worked in, we're going to kick up the speed a little. Just going to give it a quick little scrape, make sure we don't have any powder that's sticking to the bottom here. It does not give a time for how long to mix this for. It just says until smooth. And I know with typical cakes, you don't want to overmix or undermix. So just want to make sure we got everything incorporated in. Scrape that off a little bit. Put that right on here. And we're going to give it a final little whirl just to make sure everything is nice and smooth in there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Set this back off to the side. I'm just going to move this to the side quickly. I'm going to grab from behind one of my pans. I have just a piece of parchment paper on here. And now we're just going to take a spoon and we're going to spoon this on to the pan in about 3-inch circles. But first, we're actually going to let this batter just sit for a few minutes. It does say it has to sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to see you back here then. Welcome back. It's been about 10 minutes. I tidied up the area a little bit. I've got the cake mix with a spoon in it. I've got the pan with a piece of parchment paper lining it. And we're just going to start with 2 whoopie pies on here for now. And we're just going to take a spoonful of the batter, and it says to drop it and to use the spoon to do your best to make a cookie-like shape out of the batter. So I'm just going to kind of spread it around into a rough circle. It doesn't even say really how thick this should be. So I'm going to go right about there, which is just kind of what my instincts are telling me. And then we have to make these roughly the same size, because eventually they're going to have to make a sandwich. And we want the top and the bottom to be somewhat uniform. Let's just kind of spread this guy out into a circle, circle-ish. And I think those 2 look roughly the same size. So now we're going to take these and we're going to put them in the oven and we're going to bake them for 13 to 15 minutes. Gonna put them right in the middle, right about there. I'm going to set my oven timer for 13 minutes and I'll check on them then. And I will meet you back here as soon as they are ready to go. Welcome back. I just took a little peek at our whoopie pies. It's been about 13 minutes and they look like they're ready. I even pricked it a little bit with a toothpick just to check. We're going to pull these out. And there they are. I have to say, for a first time making something, those look pretty darn perfect. Now comes the hard part. Now these have to cool completely, which is probably going to take, I would say, at least a couple of hours. So I'm going to set these aside to cool in their pan. At some point during the process, I might move them to a cooling rack. We'll see how they're doing. But I'm not going to sit here with you guys for a couple of hours chatting. I will catch you back here when these are completely cooled. So I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. It has been several hours and we have our whoopie pies and they are 100% cool and ready to go. I'm just going to take these and put them back behind us. We're going to make our filling and then we'll bring them back to assemble them when we're done. I'm going to just set those right there for now. We have our large mixing bowl, which has been cleaned. We have our ingredients here. So we're going to start off with a stick of softened butter. This has been out since this morning. So it's definitely soft and ready to go. A brick of softened cream cheese. And we're going to just whip these together quickly just to kind of incorporate them a little bit before we add in the powdered sugar and the vanilla. I like to do the step of creaming them a little bit before adding the other stuff just because I find it goes together a little smoother and creams a little easier. Okay, and that's all we're looking for, just kind of to get them blended together a little bit. This is our powdered sugar, and we're just going to go all in with this. And then some pure vanilla extract. I'm going to kind of pour this over the top of the sugar to kind of help moisten it a little bit, to kind of help with the sugar cloud when we start the mixer up. We are going to start by going very slow, because once again, we don't want to create a huge cloud of powdered sugar in the kitchen. Just going to incorporate that in nice and slowly. And then once all the sugar looks like it's moist, we're going to crank up the speed and whip it into a filling. We're just going to keep on beating it so it all kind of comes together. Kind of get the edges the best you can. You don't want any sugar lumps in here. Lift those up slowly, get most of it off. That looks pretty good. We're going to use our spatula, scrape down the edges and just kind of incorporate any little stray pieces of sugar that might be left around. It certainly smells good. Okay, so there's our cream and cheese filling. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it into a Ziploc bag and cut the corner off so I can just kind of pipe it on, which I find is a little bit easier than trying to spread it on. I don't know how sturdy your cakes are going to be, and I don't want to take a chance of the red velvet turning into a crummy mess while I'm trying to spread it. You could also use a piping bag if you have one. For us today, though, I'm just going to use a large size Ziploc. I'm going to put most of it in, let the air out, and just kind of squeeze it to the corner. And then I'm just going to take off that little corner piece. So we got a nice little tip there. Put that there. I'm going to move this out of our way so it's not in the way of when we start filling. Move those two. Going to grab back our whoopie pies. I'm going to grab a plate to put them on. So in this case, this one looks a little flatter, so I'm going to call this one the bottom. Lift that off gently. So we're just going to grab our cream cheese, and we're just going to kind of give it a light little squeeze. It will definitely squeeze out as we shut it, so we don't want to go too crazy. I don't want it to come out the edges and all over the plate. We're going to lift up our lid. We're going to pop our lid back on there. I'm going to give it just a nice little squish. Kind of seal it together all around. Kind of get the frosting to the edges. And then we're going to grab a little tiny wire sieve and a little bit of powdered sugar, and we're just going to dust it to garnish it. Make it look like it's had a little snow shower on top of it. We're going to set this back to the side. And there you have it, the Red Velvet Whoopie Pie. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.